Hi everybody, this is Jason Wilson with Wilson Realty Group. Today we're going to talk about how you price a house. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how to price a property. This is a great question. How much is my home worth? Well, there are a bunch of factors that go into the value of a home. Everybody is emotionally connected with their house for the most part. Barring perhaps investors or banks where it's simply a math problem, and that's okay too. What I always tell people is numbers are unemotional and they do not lie, and that is the bottom line factor in it. So when we go to evaluate a property, we want to look at several things. Number one, the neighborhood it's in. If at all possible, we want to only use comparable properties within the subject's neighborhood. If you have to go outside of that, which in some cases you do, you can, and then you want the span to be approximately no more than a mile. Now, if it's rural, you might have to go as much as 5 miles because property sits on a bunch of acreage. But for the most part, let's talk about subdivisions. So if we're going to go with something in a specific subdivision, the next thing we're going to want to do is look for like homes. All right, because you might have specific models of homes. In certain subdivisions, you might only have 4 or 5 different models. So you're gonna look for comps that are going to be in the last 90 days if possible, if not 6 months. You can go to as much as a year in an up market like we're currently in. And you're gonna wanna look at that particular model home, right? Because if somebody with that model home sold recently in the last 90 days that has similar features, that's a base in which you can work from. So you're gonna go with that. If not, and there are not a specific model that has been sold, then you're going to go for like square footage. You're going to go with like features and like year. All right. In certain subdivisions, there are pods where you can't just take the subdivision as a whole. I can name a few of them that are local to the area. For example, there is Eagle Watch is a perfect example. Certain sections of Eagle Watch, you can find properties that will exceed $500,000. Other areas, 200, 220 is going to be the maximum you're going to be able to do. Bridge Mill is another one. They have different sections in Bridge Mill that you can look at. Those are what we typically call pods, where they were developed either by different development companies. So even though they're likely the same square footage and or years or similar, they won't be the same quality of constructions or won't have the same feature or won't be the same style of home. So we have to isolate that down. The next thing that we're going to look at is dollar per square foot. Now, this is my least favorite method. However, we do employ it because it's the confirming number. So once we establish what a property's worth, just on its basis of like features and like model and year and in a subdivision in the same pod, then we go to dollar per square foot. Now, the smaller a house is, the more you're going to get dollar per square foot. The bigger the house is, especially if it has a finished basement, the less, because the value of the finished square footage below is not equal to the value of the dollar per square foot of the property above the basement. So there's some factors involved in there. However, we use that method to kind of confirm what we're looking at in the absence of a direct comp, a direct comparable property that is a fit. So we use this complicated process in addition to adjustments for condition and features and upgrades, which we can only determine after actually seeing the property, to dial in the price as accurately as possible so that we can get the most money for the least amount of hassles in the time frame you desire. Thanks so much.